Welcome back to the 2023 CIAC Fall Esports Championships here at Quinnipiac University. We are here for the 2 p.m. hour, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. We have a high matchup here, the 1 seed versus the 2 seed. East Hartford Golden Hornets against the 2 seed Immaculate Mustangs. Peter Howarth here alongside Nick Vial.
Peter, honestly, I am extremely hyped for this matchup. You couldn't have drawn up a better finals than the 1 versus the 2 seed. This feels like we're watching the Cavs versus the Warriors one more time, but racing.
You're right, and both teams had a pretty easy time getting here to the finals, both having 2-0 sweeps in each of round 1 and round 2 last Wednesday and last Friday. But things are heating up here for the championship, different format. So we had a best of 3 games format up to this point, but for the finals, we have a best of 5 games format. We talked to some of the teams beforehand, East Hartford, Immaculate, and they said they are going to have to look out for fatigue, that this could be a factor in what could be, potentially 30 races today.
Yeah, at the minimum, it's going to be at least around 18 if someone goes for the sweep. But like we said before, we talk with some of these teams, and they don't believe that this is going to be anywhere near a 3-0 for a 5-game series. This is going to go the distance at least to 4.
And these two teams did play prior this regular season, and so they definitely have some strategies they're going to employ today. We'll get into them more as they start to reveal themselves farther on. But here, as we get into the track selection, of course, it's all random here, and we do have Bowser's Castle.
Great map.
150cc here today. So this is actually race 2 of round 1 here. Jumping in a little late. East Hartford all employing the gold Yoshi. Immaculate all on the black Yoshi.
Each team has their own meta, and they know exactly how they want to utilize it.
Yeah, that's definitely going to be key coming into this. Again, so early on that it's hard to tell what the adjustments are going to be, but Mustang won there in first place. That is going to be Ryan Beverly of Immaculate. And that's going to be a real key to see who will take the early lead, because East Hartford, it seems that they're going to be on this map-by-map approach. We did talk to them before the race, and we weren't sure if Bowser's Castle was going to be one they were going to look out for, but definitely taking that map-by-map approach here today.
Seems like as well that Golden Hornets are implying their strategy of at least hanging a few of their players back to try and get the main pole position points, and as I say that, somebody just takes a green shell to the back.
Yeah, Immaculate has taken first place. First and second, actually. Pole position for
top
Immaculate.
2 poles. Plenty of position fighting still to be done throughout this race.
Yeah, East Hartford, they were really keen on being able to see if they could bag some of these tracks. So that means that they might hang back, try to get some of the better items, and then try to have that propel them towards the end of the race, trying to secure the pole position at the last possible moment. It does seem like that's what's happening at the moment. Again, Immaculate has first and second place locked down. We'll see if the items can ultimately be enough for East Hartford to propel themselves higher up into the...
We are on the last lap of this race for a lot of these players right now. They still maintain first and second here for Immaculate, though.
That's a huge star in second place there for Immaculate. Try to tighten their lead to first and second. Maybe if they can draft, try to propel each other, have a little slingshot effect.
1 and 2 right now seem to be locked down. Red shell on the back with the fire flower, excuse me.
Yeah, but we just have the bullet bill into the golden mushroom. The Golden Hornets are up to 4th place into the star, but yeah, that's going to be a first place there for Immaculate.
First and second locked up here for Immaculate. Looks like the next highest pole position might have been, oh no, it was 3rd coming in for the Golden Hornets.
Yeah, so a bit of a sandwich effect there again. First and second, and then 7th and 8th belonging to Immaculate. But that means we're in a deadlock. 39-39 here, hitting into track 3 of game 1.
Still 4 more if you're including this race, so we got plenty of time for them to get through.
Yeah, and again, I think we're gonna keep preaching on this today. But this random track, format, I think East Hartford is really gonna be on their heels, trying to see if they get something they feel very comfortable with. And I believe this is one of the DLC courses.
I think it was. We spoke on that before, if they were even prepared for these maps, weren't they?
Yes, yeah. This is Rome Avanti. This is not one of the newer DLC courses, but we talked to East Hartford and Immaculate about this. Immaculate, again, the odds are 1 in 96 that they're going to get this course, so they just need to be ready like it's any other track.
Everyone off the start trying to find their initial pole position, getting those initial items.
Yeah, again, it's looking like a lot of the same. The Golden Hornets have got that middle of the order sort of locked down. Immaculate is flanked on the edges. They're the bread of the sandwich.
Plenty of race to go through here, Peter. What would you say is your favorite sandwich?
Favorite sandwich? That's a tough one. Yeah, I think a solid turkey. Very solid. Lean meat. Speaking of lean, actually, I think that's going to be the case for this course. It's very narrow. This was brought over from Mario Kart Tour, the mobile game. So adjusting for this format, it's a very narrow course. It's going to be tough to get some overtakes, as we see Immaculate drop to 2nd and 5th. Back up to 1st. Speak too soon.
Like you said, because of how narrow it is, I expect to see a lot of movement in between. As we just see I believe that was two Immaculate players that ran into each other, wasn't it? Oh no, it was.
Well, that's what's going to happen with the bomb. Again, it's such a narrow course that any sort of effects like that, blue shells, bombs, it's going to have a large effect on the map.
Heading into the last lap here for a lot of these players. Looks like Immaculate has a firm lead on that first place position.
Well, first place with 10 coins, that's a really good position to be in. Maximum speed. A blue shell on the way, though. What can he do to avoid this?
Looks like he just outran it, dare I say, Peter.
It is a mechanic you can do. It's a lot tougher in 150cc than in 200, but it is still possible. And he outran it. First place again for Immaculate. 3rd place going to the Golden Hornets. It's a similar sandwich, although it's loaded at the bottom. So
a lot smaller top bun there.
Yeah, so Immaculate's going to take 1st, but then 2nd through 5th are going to go to East Hartford. That's going to give them a narrow edge, 7-point lead, headed into track 4.
Plenty of time and space here there for Immaculate to catch up if they need be.
Yeah, there's plenty of time.
Plenty of racing we're going to have today, Peter.
We're going to have a lot of racing. And I'm really curious about this fatigue thing, because I know if I held the controller for that long, my thumbs might not hold up.
I would even, at least me personally, I'm not so worried for my thumbs. I'd be more worried for my eyes, because, at least for me, I can't stare at a screen for too long, especially when it comes to certain games.
Well, I don't think they'll be too happy about this. Peach Gardens, this is one that I know East Hartford said they weren't looking forward to Peach Circuit. I know this isn't the same course, but maybe there's something in the Peach water.
They did mention Peach Garden as well, that they did not want to catch themselves on. But you never know. This might be where they bring out that strategy of them trying to bag a lot better of the items towards the end.
In many ways, this could be seen as the opposite of the Rome Avanti course, because this has a lot of width here in the maze part. It's going to be hard to try to get those drafts. Some of those overtakes might be difficult, and chain chomps going through the garden.
I'd be worried about those if I saw them in my garden. That's all I know.
You think they sell stuff at Lowe's? Some weed killer for that?
At Lowe's?
Yeah, for the chain chomp.
Oh,
some spray.
I'd hope so.
Well, this is huge. East Hartford taking 1st and 2nd pole position, knocked down to 5th. That's how it goes in Mario Kart.
Yeah. But as we know in Mario Kart, these races and the positions don't last very long.
No, we're only lap 2 here. There's a lot of time. But again, it is a shock not to see Immaculate have 1st place, as they have pretty comfortably up into this part. You see East Hartford trying to get the draft there to try to move up from 5th. But hey, if East Hartford can hold on to this 1st place, it would mean huge points, and it could ultimately be very tough for Immaculate to come back if they don't get up to form.
Yep. especially if this is a map that they did not want to play on. Stealing some points away from Immaculate could be huge here as we head into the last lap.
Well, not a bad trade-off there for East Hartford. First place has the golden coins, but the boost swaps it out for the bomb. Depending on how things get tight, throwing that back could ultimately help propel them forward. Because it is the Immaculate Mustangs in second place on their tail.
Very congested there in the middle between all of these racers. And as they noted before in their pre-match talks with us, it's all about getting those middle positions to make sure they can maximize all these points.
Yeah, it may be sacrificing that first place and trying to go for the 3v2. Although the blue shell knocks the Golden Hornets out of first place, the Mustangs take that. They're back up to first and second.
That was, I don't know if you noticed that, Peter, but they cut through that shortcut there, and that might have been the smartest move that they could have pulled out of there.
At the last second, East Hartford takes the second place from them, so that brings it down to an 8-point margin, so 7-8. That move there kept them in this race. Luck of the draw here of the random track.
Part of me wishes that they could pick their own tracks at times.
I think we would have a scenario where it would be like the character selection, where there would be a meta, there would be some courses they like, and then we'd be running that back once again. And here we have Ribbon Road, not one they mentioned that they wanted, that they didn't want. So this is a pretty neutral track for both teams.
A lot more of a wide turn map here for the players, so they're just going to have to build up a lot of boost and hopefully maintain a good lead with some good items.
Yeah, a lot of drift opportunities coming right in the first couple corners. And again, we're continuing something we saw in the last race, where it is East Hartford taking pole position. Something that Immaculate was holding on pretty strong up to that point in this match.
Seems like this might be a very comfortable map for our first place driver here for the Hornets. He just extended his lead massively through a lot of those shortcuts. I don't know if you watched him.
Yeah, he took a pair of shortcuts. He took one with a boost at the end. He also had one with a regular trick to give him that extra bit of boost. But it's Immaculate being on the other side of the sandwich. They are hovering here. Although the blue shell is going to come in. Hartford nearly falls off the map after that red shell nearly takes him off. They hold on strong.
And also a tactful banana on the shortcut there for the first place rider that almost took them off the map as well.
The banana strategies, you never know if they're going to come in handy. It is Immaculate in 8th place. Doesn't look like they're going to catch up there. They have a star holding up. And the question is if anyone's going to catch up to East Hartford in first place. It looks like it's not going to be enough here as we end the third lap into the Cloud Glider.
It looks like East Hartford's going to have at least 3 in the top 4 right now.
Wow! Immaculate takes the shortcut off of the Lightning.
Ooh.
Takes first place away from East Hartford. East Hartford, they had immunity from the shell due to the Lightning, but that still wasn't enough. And again, a similar looking sandwich. That lead moves up to 11 points for East Hartford. That's what's the danger of how this might go, is if they keep chipping away the other way, they keep building this lead at 1, 2, 3, 4 points each time. They're going to need something really heavy on the other side for Immaculate in order to get in this as we get later into the match.
Yeah, especially even just into this game, because dare I say, this might be the last map of the game. Is that correct?
Yeah, we are doing a 6 races in each game. Here we have Yoshi's Island, another one of the DLC courses, one that's a little later. It's a shorter map, a lot of verticality. We'll see how familiar they are with all the shortcuts. Again, it's a smaller, shorter course, a lot of hang time. So those shells will be really important in order to knock the guys out of the air.
Well, if the last map was anything to go by, that there will be plenty of knowledge about these shortcuts.
Well, East Hartford and Immaculate, both off the left side of the course already. You can tell that this isn't it's a track that is just not as familiar for all the players.
This could play into Immaculate's favor here, as they do have to make up that 11-point gap. This could very well lend them to maybe snagging a few extra points here.
Well, we still have a lot of track left, and for East Hartford, they have to be happy where they're at first and second once again. Double red shells in second, now in the third place, but riding the flying bridge. Now, of course, with East Hartford having first and second here, now first, second, and third, they're just going to hold on to those red shells.
Yep.
They're going to turn that offense into defense.
Snag a few more items here and there, plant a few more bananas.
Yeah, right now Immaculate is on the heels of East Hartford for first place. Can they? We have the double item coming in here. Double red shells. We get the one in the air. There it is. It finally came into effect.
Hits them right back, though, as the Hornets are right on their tails for that second place. And now in first, heading into this last lap. A lot more things you have to worry about on this map, too, Peter. You got to worry about these piranha plants coming in from the side. You got to worry about geysers, a different change of course with the water.
The crabs there. Yeah, and it is interesting with this course. It has like a baby park-like effect where it does seem like there's way more mayhem than you expect for a course that's, not baby park.
Yep.
East Hartford holding on to first place here. Second place for Immaculate. Yeah, off the item, they only got the green shell, Immaculate, so it doesn't look like they'll be able to have the ammunition to catch up. East Hartford secures first place once again. The drift there by Immaculate propels them up to fourth place, but it's a full podium for East Hartford. First, second, and third from Yoshi's Island. Yeah, that's going to bring the lead up to 24 points. That's a huge number, and you can tell that. I think some of these DLC tracks are going to make it really difficult if these players aren't as adjusted. So that is going to move East Hartford. They're going to secure the first match of the day.
Plenty of time here for their opponents to, maybe bring this back to one game closer. And like you said, these DLC maps, depending on if they get one that, like the coaches said, it's a 1 in 96 chance, but that 1 in 96, if it happens again, could see them fall down 2-0.
Well, the DLC does make up 48 of the 96 tracks. We are looking at half here, but with the way the rollout has been, it's been 8 tracks that came out just under a month ago, I believe. So, again, then you're looking at, 8 out of 96, which we're looking at 1 out of 12.
Yeah. Look at you, math major over here.
I'm not a math major, folks.
Oh, it's okay. I can't count either.
Yeah, so we have a little bit of downtime here before the next match. Do you have something you're looking forward to today?
Honestly, I won't spoil anything as of yet, but East Hartford, they did mention, in case anything does happen, they do have a wild card up their sleeve.
Yeah, we'll
in
see
their
if
strategy. I don't want to give anything away, but I do. I'm not gonna say I want to see them lose, but I do want to see this strategy come out because it could be a lot different from the meta of the Yoshi that we've been seeing.
Of course, that would be if they were not in the lead. Again, them taking the 1-0 lead here is going to complicate things. And here we have the first track of match 2, Sweet Sweet Canyon. This one you're familiar with, Nick?
Slightly. most of these maps I tend to on great nights of Mario Kart I tend to just all maps blend together because I'm winning all of them most of the time. Dare I say?
Hey, again, 1 out of 96 is hard to keep up with all of them. And it is Immaculate getting off to a better start here, back to their early Match 1 form where they are 1-2 in the position.
Much more of a straighter map. A lot of straight shots here, rather, for at least their turns. Not many drifting or hairpin turns that they have to worry about.
Yeah, so then I think green shells are going to actually be really important. Either if you're going to use them for defense against those red shells, or if there's a chance to be able to go to offense. Of course, green shells aren't exactly something everyone wants, but when you're up in first, second place, and if you're not bagging, then there's a chance that you may have to use them.
Or a fire flower, you never know, because those are just as useful, if not better, than the green shell, dare I say.
Here comes the blue shell out from 7th place. How will it shake things up? Of course, Immaculate's still hanging on to first, so it won't affect them. How long can Immaculate hold on to this first place? Again, this was the story of early in Match 1, the first couple of tracks. But then East Hartford came and took away that momentum. Can they hang on?
They're only creating more and more room for them, as you see in the bottom left. He is just absolutely gunning it past everybody.
Well, will there come to a time where that string of not necessarily bad items, but obviously not the ones that are going to create huge waves here, is it going to catch up with it?
Blue shell is going to get him.
Blue shell right near the finish line. Oh my goodness!
They'll snag second there, but that was a very, very tight call.
East Hartford snipes it away. First place goes to East Hartford. They have 4 of the top 5. That's a 3-point swing, or 2-point swing rather.
Yes.
So it's an 11-point lead here for the Hornets. It took them a couple of races to build up to that lead.
Yep.
In Match 1, and they already have it heading here into Track 2.
A solid point differential already, and honestly, excuse me, but if I, wow, I am losing my voice almost.
Hey, you've got this.
Thank you, I appreciate that, Peter. Honestly, if I'm Immaculate here, I have to wonder what can we do differently throughout the race, because it seems like this lead and the way that these sandwiches are going in terms for the Hornets, that Immaculate needs to differ something up, because yes, they're holding on to first, but they're not able to capitalize on anything else for the rest of the poll.
Well, we'll see if they can change things up here with Sunshine Airport. This is an OG map. All these players have played this course hundreds of times, so there shouldn't be any surprises here. And so East Hartford, I don't know if you saw that on the top left, intentionally having a big gap from 8th to 7th place because they're playing this long-term backing game.
Yeah, not one of the maps that they spoke on about for the strategy or in general with us, but for some reason they really they feel that one of these maps, like you mentioned, one of the OG maps that they believe are going to need to maybe pull out one of these strategies.
Well, Immaculate said coming in that they would be concerned about East Hartford's bagging. Again, when these two teams played in the regular season, that was the observation they came out with.
That gap is closing, though, for the 8th place player in your top left.
I mean, look at that. You get Bullet Bill into the blue shell. There is a reason behind the madness. There's a science.
There is a lot of math.
A method, you would say. That's the phrase.
Some would say.
Madness.
You know, it's funny, too, when you think of games like this when it's essentially just racing when you boil it down to it, but there is a lot more strategy when you have these racers going up against one another with pole positions on the line and total points throughout the entire race.
Well, there's a reason they're all in the same courses. No matter the course, they're in the same characters, they're in the same karts. So East Hartford is up to second place, first and third, now first, third, and fourth going to Immaculate. We'll see as we enter the third lap here. Can East Hartford's bagging, can it pay off? Is it enough to catch up at this point of the race? Immaculate tries to hold on to that first place lead.
Still a decent amount of room here for the first place Immaculate player after getting hit with the red shell and gets blown by the Hornets player.
First and third right now for the first and second rather for East Hartford.
That bagging might just pull off here in the end. 1 and 2 securing here by the Hornets. They're going to take that quick little shortcut around.
Shortcut into the boost. First and second once again for East Hartford. And again, the story here, Immaculate, they have 3, 4, 5, and 7. But they had the lead. They had the lead. The bagging by East Hartford ultimately pays off. 16 the gap now, increasing their lead by 5 heading into track 3.
Being able to secure first and second, I think probably was the biggest proponent to that because of that bagging strategy, as we saw. Able to secure themselves a pretty hefty sum of points.
First and second, 18 points on the line.
Yep.
It's huge when we're looking at these differentials.
That alone, I think, made up for the what was it, third, fifth, and sixth that they had? Or, well, what positions did they have before? Anyway.
Yeah, we all saw it. We're all watching. Cheap beach. No ice in this level. This is something that Immaculate said. They felt really comfortable with the ice. But this is water. It's going to slow you down. You're not going to skid here.
Still one of the great maps that we know all throughout Mario Kart. I think this has been in every iteration of every Mario Kart.
In iteration, certainly. I'm personally not a big fan of the water levels.
Not a great word? Sorry, my bad.
East Hartford, they're in first and second here, so again, what you're looking at is not every player on East Hartford is going to bag. Yeah. Not every one of them is going to go for that strategy. They do have a designated bagger, and that strategy is they're hoping to get a little late momentum in the points in order to hold Immaculate off.
This is one of the quicker maps, though, I would say, comparatively to a lot of the kart maps that we see.
Yeah, very narrow heading into the first couple of turns as we enter lap 2. And it's not these straightaways in the sand that you're going to be able to get some of the bigger momentum swings, taking use of those mushrooms. And it is Immaculate that takes first place back. You see the shortcut down through the water. That's the best line through that stretch. Third and fifth here for East Hartford, though. They hang around. And just when you think it's over, they catch you off guard.
They're just waiting for the right opportunity for them to take over and get right past that first and second place player as we head into the last lap.
But Immaculate is in a good position here in first place, where they do have, in their second item spot, they have the ability to get rid of any red shell or blue shell that comes that way.
Plenty of space here, first place here for Immaculate.
I was about to say, look at the lead. I don't think we're in a situation where that's going to change.
No blue shell on the way. Plenty of space to work with. Max coins.
So where is the meat of that sandwich going to lie?
Yeah.
Because that's where a lot of the points are going to be decided. But no, it's Immaculate taking the podium. That should be some point swinging back their way.
That's going to be a big point swing right back.
Yeah, so we're going to narrow that 16-point lead down to 5. We essentially have canceled out the first and the third races, those 11-point swings, and we're down to a 5-point swing here as we enter the second half of match 2.
3 more races with that 5-point lead. I feel like the Hornets might not want to play any more of these OG maps. What do you think, Peter?
No, I think the chaos might benefit them. They might think that, it's Grumble Volcano, though. It's another OG map, not added in the DLC. So it's going to be that coin flip every time. Good start, no bagging on our stream. Although I will say, it's been flawless starts every time. This isn't a situation where we're guessing on timing. This is something you work on.
most of these players still fighting for just basic positioning as we still in the first lap.
Yeah, the first lap here is going to be very delicate in trying to figure out where we lie in terms of items and how we can stack things moving into the second lap and try to take advantage of those positions. Because again, major points lie in the meat of that sandwich. If it holds as we think it will, it's immaculate. Gets near the top, and East Hartford once again takes the middle of that sandwich.
If you're looking for that chicken cutlet.
Yes. Yes, I will say, all the sandwich talk is probably going to make me hungry. I've already eaten, but it's...
You're going to get hungry again?
I'm just saying, we're saying the word sandwich a lot.
We are.
Immaculate's holding on to that first place at the moment. The double shells, he has immunity through the second shell, but it is Jorge from East Hartford taking the lead. There's first and second back for East Hartford.
Plenty of room here
for second and third. I'm sorry.
Yeah, they have the entire podium right now.
They have taken the podium, swinging things back from where they were last track.
Plenty of space and time here, though, for Immaculate to work with. They're probably going to get a few items here that, let's be honest here, that East Hartford is not going to want to see come their way. Could be a star, could be a bullet bill, could be a couple red shells.
They do have double red shells here in second place, a good position to be in.
Ooh, but the lightning comes out here as Immaculate is going to try and take advantage of that.
This does reset a lot of things from an items perspective, and as we can see, our two East Hartford on the screen, first and second down to fourth and sixth, fifth and sixth now.
And I believe that's going to be a complete podium sweep here, other than the fourth place, or last place, excuse me, for Immaculate, which is...
That was incredible. That's how quickly things can
That's
go.
exactly how fast we can swing away, and I believe that gives Immaculate a point advantage. Yes, it does, by 6.
That's another 11-point swing. It's going to be the same track layout. That was the same order from last race. So we're going to have that 11-point swing, and yeah, it's going to turn into a 5-point lead for Immaculate.
Peter, I'm going to harp on this point again because it seems like that these OG maps, whenever we run into them, it seems like, at least in the last two that we've seen, Immaculate has that edge against the Hornets.
You're right. It does seem like the chaos benefits East Hartford. As here we go. Now, Mario Circuit 3, I believe this has got to be DLC. Yeah, it's everyone's favorite game here. DLC or not? Let's see if I can remember. I believe we're in DLC territory. But because
this is inspired from, I believe, one of the OG maps.
We're taking it back from the Super Nintendo days. So.
Yeah, well, this is an NES one. But we do have an intentional bagging strike here to start from East Hartford, as you see in the top right of your screen.
Look, it can be as simple as to try to get a better item heading into the first turn, because those gaps aren't as big, so just being able to get that edge heading into the first couple of turns is something it seems like they're looking to try to do.
Still plenty of ground here to make up, though, for a lot of these players. 2 intentional baggers for both teams, by the way.
We'll see if they actually end up countering each other, because can you out-bag the bagger?
That's what we're going to be talking. I believe that's what we're going to be talking about as the blue shell takes out the Immaculate first place player.
And there goes Jorge through. We're back up to first, second here for East Hartford, third and fourth for Immaculate in the top half of the grid. It was Immaculate in the first half of this race, again, as we are into the second lap. It was East Hartford who had the podium, now it's Immaculate, and things may be swaying the other way. Again, that's what's so interesting about the bagging strategy. The way this is going to flip-flop. It just depends on where you are when we hit the end of that third lap.
And the chance of, let's see if you get a blue shell, or if you get a bullet bill, or a star. Let's see what happens. I believe that was also a blue shell taking out the first place player
that was
Immaculate, I believe it was.
It was East Hartford through, then it was Immaculate through, and then East Hartford came back through for first place. Although 3 mushrooms here for Immaculate.
Nice.
Mushroom through the shortcut, holding the red shell, immunity through the lightning.
That's going to give him a nice 1 and 2 here for Immaculate.
That's going to mean 1-2. Not the full podium. East Hartford does secure third place here. Let's see where that shakes things up in the points. So this is a bigger shakeup than we've seen. Again, we have normally seen those blocks of players but that's going to move up to a 17-point lead for Immaculate.
Heading into this last race here of game number 2, this is going to be a very, very vital map here that Immaculate hopefully does not get anything that they don't want.
No, we have some of the courses that East Hartford told us rather. We were both there.
At times.
Bone Dry Dunes. This isn't what they mentioned. Again, this is a map that was in the base version of Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, so maybe the momentum stays with Immaculate here. Again, you're going to need huge points in order to sway this back towards East Hartford.
Flying off the start here, trying to find their positions, trying to position themselves maybe with some items to maybe get that first and lock down the second place. First and second for Immaculate right now.
Immaculate holding that top 2 positions once again. But East Hartford, they're hanging in there. They're waiting for the top, that right moment. Maybe it's the lightning, maybe it's a ghost in order to exchange these items around. And just like that, East Hartford through to second place. It is Eli of Immaculate holding on to first place at the moment.
He's got a shadow right behind him, though. That being the second base player for East Hartford. And they take first with that overtake. I believe that was a red shell heading those back.
That is East Hartford through for first, but it's second and third to Immaculate.
Still another lap to go through. And plenty of ground for Immaculate to make up here. Maybe really snag that win away from the Hornets and tie up this best-of-5 series here.
Immaculate takes the lead heading into the third lap. In that battle there with Neon Flame, but Immaculate ultimately pulls through off the purple drift. But the draft there from Neon Flame brings back the first place. This is going to be a battle getting into the end of this third lap.
Oh, yeah.
But you focus so much about first and second place. Where do all of those other positions lie?
The most important might be that 3rd through 5th positions here, especially when you're talking about these team sports now.
If you can stack these points up between huge numbers. But again, East Hartford needs a big number here. Holding on to first place would be huge. But it is Immaculate on their tail, second and third. Ultimately, I don't think it'll be enough.
I don't either. I don't think the math is going to be on the Hornets side here. It doesn't look like it will be, at least. And Immaculate, they're going to take game 2 here, Peter, it looks like.
It looks like they're going to be able to hold on. Yeah, it's going to be a 16-point lead. So they got 1 point back, East Hartford there. Ultimately not enough. And so yeah, that's going to be match 2 to Immaculate. We're tied 1-1. And of course, you know, if this was round 1, if this was round 2 of the bracket, we could be heading into a decisive match 3. But no, best of 5 matching format. And we'll see if any fatigue comes up. Of course, we're not in the room with the players. We can't see or hear what they're saying or doing, but ultimately, again, I don't think my thumbs would hold up.
Yeah, again, I really do wonder what's going to go through their head, because to them right now, this would be the decisive game, but regardless of if you win the next one, you have to say to yourself, oh, we have to bounce back and win another again, which might help the losers of the next game.
It's a big momentum game here. And again, we talked to East Hartford before today, and they said, you know, we are here to win. There was no hesitation in that. It was very clear what their goal was. And so ultimately, you know, taking the third match when you're tied up 1-1 could be very important here. You know, as we have a couple seconds of downtime here between matches, Nick, just curious, do you have a go-to Mario Kart character?
Honestly, I do, and it's not one of the the meta players that we've seen hop up today, it's actually Waluigi. I'm a big Waluigi player.
Waluigi. You know, I'd be curious if you talked to the players, if you told them that you're a Waluigi player, what they would think of that.
They'd probably laugh at me in disgust.
Yeah,
Dare I say.
I think you're right. As we head here into Singapore Speedway for our first track of Max 3. We're in DLC territory, Nick, right off the bat of Max 3. So, again, do we think this is where East Hartford, they can have the momentum? Or they like the chaos here?
The chaos does seem to be favoring them, in the long run at least. No immediate bagging strategies coming out for them. They're going to want to take this right off the bat from them.
Like we talked about with some of the other DLC maps earlier, it's narrower. All these city courses are narrower. So we'll see if, again, if we have some of these bigger blue shells, these bombs, what it will mean in terms of the effect it'll have on all the racers here on the track.
Utilizing the speed boost too in these narrower maps where you have these very wide long turns and then an absolute straightaway with items and boosts that you're going to want to capitalize on.
As we see, a lot of really close jockey. Immaculate holding on to first place. Second and third is going back in between Neon Flame and Immaculate. And if East Hartford can take away that second place, not allow them to have the top 2 spots of the podium, it keeps them in this thing. But again, we are clean slate here in the first track of Match 3.
Still utilizing the Yoshi meta for both these teams.
No,
Game 3.
That's a good observation. No changes for East Hartford, even though they did lose that last match. They have not decided to make the adjustment to the wildcard pick. As we enter here, the third lap of the track. Immaculate holding on to first and second place. East Hartford in third and fourth. Can they catch up? Well, they have taken second place back with the triple red shells here for East Hartford. What can they do? Can they take first place away from Immaculate? There's another red shell. The onslaught is hit. But it's still Immaculate holding on to first.
Right on his tail, though, is the second place player here for the Hornets, and in third as well. Might be a nice little double team for the both of them coming through. As a red shell actually misses the first place player for Immaculate.
They've had the mushrooms, the drift, and the draft. Still tongue twisted there, drift draft. But
First place is locked up by Immaculate.
Yeah, so they're going to do a little bit of trading here. Immaculate taking first, East Hartford second. Third back to Immaculate. Fourth and fifth going to East Hartford. What that means in terms of the points, that's going to be a 1-point edge for Immaculate.
Well, I'm hoping now. I hope the rest of the races are going to be this close.
Yeah, this is bringing back vibes of Match 1 when we were really jockeying, flipping back and forth. Is that me? Is that one me, Kenny from South Park? That's what it looks like, right?
Oh, he does look like Kenny.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's pretty good. Honestly, that's pretty good.
That's gotta be Kenny right there.
Honestly, whoever made that, that's pretty good.
It's done pretty well. But we have our first repeat track of the day. Ribbon Road coming back again. Again, this is an original map, not a DLC map, so see if Immaculate can try to increase that 1-point lead here.
And not a lot of room to work with. No real bagging strategy that I don't know if the team wants to employ this early on.
At least not on our team. Real jockey here for first place. Through the first lap. Immaculate's holding on, East Hartford threatening. Back through that shortcut. Pair of shortcuts here for Immaculate. Looks like they'll be able to hold on to first through the majority of the first lap.
One thing that we notice about this map more than a lot of the others is that we see a very big utilization of the shortcuts in this map a lot more often.
Yeah, and I think if the top players know that, and it's been clear that Immaculate going down from first to fifth, but their other player comes up and takes first. That's what it can be about with this jockeying. If your teammate takes the hit, are you there right behind to take that place and not give those points away?
Still a lap to go before points really are introduced. As you see the first place player take that shortcut once again.
We see Immaculate fall off the map there on the shortcut down from 5th to 8th, but they have the bullet bill and the golden mushroom. Immaculate holding on to first place. Second place belongs to East Hartford as they boost through the blue shell.
Red shell coming in on him now, but he has that green shell to block. And we're going to see... Oh, just before the boost.
But being positioned on the boost means he's still alive. If that was on this shortcut, we'd be in a different situation. East Hartford does take the first place away, but that positioning could have ultimately saved him. He tries to go through the shortcut, but the shell hits him in the back. That means East Hartford takes back first place, second place to Immaculate, along with third place.
That second and third, at least in terms of points, might be enough, though, for Immaculate. Maybe to not increase their lead, but at least maintain it for a little bit longer.
That's a 1 point lead for Immaculate heading into this track 2 of match 3. And they're just going to tack another point on.
All right. That's easy math. I can do that.
No, that was our first repeat track of the day. We'll start to see, I think, that coming to fruition if this keeps getting longer. If this keeps drawing out some repeat courses, how that'll end up going.
Yeah, while the fatigue was a big factor that these players talked about, I wonder if seeing the same map once, twice, maybe even 3 times, if that somehow happens, might throw them off. Or, the last one, as you saw, Immaculate took points from that one, but you never know. East Hartford might want or learn something better now that they've raced it 2 times.
Well, that's not going to be the case here. We do have a DLC map, Merry Mountain. Yeah, very festive course here. It's a shorter one in the DLC, but that does mean, again, DLC, if the trends continue, East Hartford might be able to have some momentum here and maybe take those 2 points back that they lost through the first 2 tracks. They're holding on first place here so far, so maybe that's playing out.
Third race into our third game of the match. Plenty of room for them to work with, at least in terms of those points.
Yeah, a lot of verticality on this map. As you see here, headed down the slope. You do have, I believe, Santa's sleigh in the sky, so he's going to drop coins. So that means there's going to be a lot of speed heading into this final stretch here down the hill. Down the mountain, rather. The Merry Mountain.
Skiing, even. Can you ski, Peter?
I can ski. I wouldn't say I'm a
well.
great skier.
I was going to say, can you ski well? That's probably a better question.
I can ski. I'm capable.
Oh, okay. That's a good way of putting it.
I'm going to guess you are a capable skier.
Oh, no, I cannot ski for my life.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I can skate. That's about it.
Well, I can technically skate as well. I wouldn't say I'm great at it. But right now, it is Immaculate skating the first place here as we go down the Merry Mountain here. Holding on to first place, all 10 coins, first place. This is, again, something we've seen throughout. How far can they extend that lead? Try to secure those 10 points that are on the board.
But as we know with these DLC maps, they're more chaotic for these players, which means, as you can see on the map, they're still pretty close together, which means all it takes is a few green shells, a fire flower, or maybe a bullet bill here, and we're going to see a massive swing, perhaps.
Headed up the mountain. Immaculate's just going to keep holding on to first place. Although a blue shell is on the way. Is it coming for Immaculate?
Not a lot of room for that blue shell to work with, and I don't know if it's going to get there in time before Immaculate's going to be able to reach that first place mark.
Looks like it's not. Immaculate's going to hold on to first place here.
It looks like they also took second.
East Hartford taking third.
Yep.
This could be huge for the points. Immaculate trying to extend that lead. First and second here for Immaculate. Third and fourth for East Hartford. And what that's going to mean here is that 2-point lead is going to stretch to 9. 7-point swing there. As we enter the second half of match number 3. Look, we're still in single digits in terms of the numbers, so there is still a chance, but I do think East Hartford needs to have a big statement.
That's going to come with, depending on what the next map might be.
Rosaline's Ice World, I believe this is DLC, but at the same time, this is an ice map. Again, we did talk to both teams before the match today, and Immaculate said that they like and they feel very comfortable on these ice tracks. They feel that there's a high risk, high reward element of being on the ice, and they feel very confident in their abilities on this terrain.
Question is, Peter, we see these teams right now, they're in 4th and 5th, but do they have the ice in their veins to maintain to this 9-point lead right now? Cheesy, I had to go for it. I know.
That's a great point. Again, East Hartford holding on to first place at the moment, but with the ice and the way Immaculate feels confident about their performance on the ice, you'd have to expect that they'll get back in this as they take first place, right on cue.
Caster's curse. What can we say?
You do a lot of talking that by the time you hit the end of your thought, that things change like that. You know what they say? That's Mario Kart.
Yeah. Do they say that?
I don't think they do.
No. We'll say it now.
Yeah, that's our thing. Immaculate's holding on to first place here as we enter the first turn here in the second lap. 3rd and 4th belong to the Golden Hornets. I think that 2nd and 5th actually as things start to jockey out. But 1st and 2nd are still very tight here between Immaculate and East Hartford, so that means those first place points are going to be huge. A lot of shortcuts here with the boost through the ice. Now I'm really curious how the drafting and the drifting, very just some intended words, are going to be here into turn 1, because it's such a tight turn you can't help to be on top of each other as the red shells come in.
Red Shell came in, I don't know if you noticed, but that Immaculate player who was in 2nd, now 1st, sniped them with a green shell off the turn, and then they got double teamed by a red, but a blue shell.
There's the blue shell. Look, there's no other place for those shells to go on the first turn, so you should see that stacking effect. Again, where are your teammates? Can they come in to take that place from you? And you see with Immaculate, they're back in first place. That blue shell to his teammate, he was able to hold it off, and as we enter the end of turn 3, they'll take first place once again. Look, they look very comfortable out on the ice.
Almost like a professional hockey team.
Almost.
Different sticks.
Yeah, and we're back to the classic sandwich model where Immaculate's taking 1st, 2nd, 7th, and 8th, the meat going to the Golden Hornets. Actually, the way the points that work out,
We got 3 more there.
It's only a 3-point difference.
Yep. Immaculate now grows that lead to, I believe it was 12.
So it's up to a 12-point lead, 9 to 12.
Heading into the
fifth track of match 3. Oh, and it does look like the Golden Hornets are going to switch things up. This is the wild card they were talking about. If they were going to go to Diddy Kong, if they felt comfortable on the lighter builds, and this is what they're deciding to do.
2 more races left to go. It clearly seems like Hartford feel like this is a must-win game right now.
Yeah, they feel comfortable that they need to get this match, that this 3rd match is going to have a lot of momentum as we're here in Cheeseland. And again, it's not all of their players. As you see with the Golden Hornets on the screen, we have 1 Diddy Kong and 1 Yoshi. It's not a universal approach. They also are in the Biddy Buggy as opposed to the Teddy Buggy. Slight difference there. But Immaculate, they're trying to stay unflapped through this exchange. They're holding on to 1st and 2nd here in the first lap.
Diddy Kong, excuse me, right on their heels though.
It's not your day, buddy.
No, it's not. I don't know why. I am catching a slight cold, but happens to the best of us.
Well, you might be getting cold, but things are just heating up here. Immaculate holding on to first place as we enter lap number 2. Diddy Kong, as you can see on our screen here, in third place.
Catching a red shell,
as
though.
the red shell comes in, as it does.
Could send one right back here to make sure they maintain that position. Immaculate holding on to that first place, as they tend to do at times.
They do. They feel very comfortable with growing that lead, and as you can see, it is a huge lead if you look at the map. Right to the left of that Immaculate logo. As the blue shell comes in for second place, only going to grow that lead for Immaculate, bringing East Hartford in second place back to the pack.
This lead is only continuing to grow for this first place player.
Yeah, it's looking like Max Verstappen out there.
Yeah. I can hear the Dutch national anthem now.
I can hear Christian in my ear.
Red shell hits him though in the back as this lead is now tightening.
Yeah, as we're in the third lap, it does seem like Immaculate will hold on to first place. East Hartford is holding on to second place. Diddy Kong strategy, moving up to 8th to 7th. Back to 8th, back to 7th. So far, it hasn't paid off.
It did not pay off, at least not in this race, because first place is going to go to Immaculate. That's only going to help, as well as the third place. That's going to really help that point differential and probably boost them almost into a 20-point lead. I don't believe so exactly, but the math is mathing with that sandwich there.
Yeah, again, it was only one Diddy Kong player. It was 7 for East Hartford that went Diddy Kong. Going to move that 12-point lead down to 11. But again, I believe it was match 1 where we had an 11-point lead heading into the final track, and it wasn't enough for Immaculate to come back against East Hartford. This time, I don't think it'll be enough for East Hartford to try to tighten that gap and ultimately try to take this match.
I feel like the biggest determining factor now is going to be what map are they going to get? Are they going to get an OG map? Are they going to get something chaotic? How narrow is the map that they're going to get next? And are we going to see a repeat? You never know.
That's the role of the 96-sided die.
Yeah.
That'd be crazy to look at, right? 96-sided die.
You wouldn't even know what number you'd get if you tried to roll it.
Although this is very intriguing here. We have Wii Rainbow Road, which East Hartford said was one they wanted to see. This is a DLC course, but this isn't one made for the game. This isn't brought over from the mobile game. It's the Rainbow Road they love and they know from the Wii. And you can see it. I mean, again, we're only in the first stretch here, but East Hartford holding on first place.
This is going to be an extremely crucial, if not the most vital race here, track here, potentially the entire series, because the winner of this one could determine who gets that 2-1 victory, or 2-1 lead, in the series.
It's like winning Game 5 of the NBA Finals. It just is so much momentum being able to have that decisive lead at this point. And you can see East Hartford staying with the Diddy Kong meta, or at least their wildcard meta. It's paid off for them so far. Again, their eyes glowed when they said that they wanted to see Wii Rainbow Road. They have it into place where they want it. I don't think they could script a better place to have this Wii Rainbow Road.
It's going to be very crucial as they get into lap number 2 here as Diddy Kong holding on to that first place spot right now. Do you think this map is going to benefit a build like Diddy Kong, who's a lot smaller, a lot faster comparatively to Yoshi?
Well, I don't have to speculate. We can see it in our own eyes. They are holding on to first and second place. And if my eyes are correct, I believe it may also have third place. If they take the podium here, that could be in huge points. Again, an 11-point lead for Immaculate in the final race of match number 3. Can they close this gap?
Blue shell voided though by the boombox.
Diddy Kong dropping back to 6th place though. We do have one of the Yoshis there to take his spot, but points down from 5th now, or first rather, down to 4th. Huge. Immaculate's cleaning up though. As we start to enter, we're close now to the 3rd lap of the race. Immaculate has taken 2nd and 3rd place back from East Hartford. If East Hartford can't get back to having that sweep, or at least a good part of the top half of this grid, they're not going to have the points. It's a simple matter of points.
That sweep they had at the beginning of lap number 2 was really where they looked strong and good, but it's a matter of getting them both, or getting them all back up there. Let's just see them in third and fourth right now. But first, second, and I believe third, potentially dominated by this immaculate team. But the first place player, he goes off the track.
He tries to get the momentum from the drift and the trick. Immaculate's holding on to first place. East Hartford back to second. We're doing the checkerboard here. First, second, third, fourth, alternating between Immaculate and East Hartford. But Immaculate's on the better half of that flip-flop.
Rounding this last massive turn here is Immaculate in that first place position, heated closely by that second. And the first place player is going to drop all the way down to, I believe, third place, as the first is going to be taken by the Hornets. But I don't know if that points differential is going to be made up.
And we have a top half of the grid sandwich. First and fourth going to East Hartford, second and third going to Immaculate. That 11-point gap is going to turn to 8. Little too late. What could be a decisive third match is going to go to Immaculate. 2-1 lead. Very poetic here for Immaculate, who came into this bracket as the 2 seed. East Hartford came in as the 1 seed, and it's now 2-1.
Yeah. Plenty of really good play here that we're seeing from Immaculate. They're maintaining these leads whenever they start getting these multi-point gaps. They get that sandwich to begin with, and then they say, okay, let's just build on it. Let's not worry about maintaining or having to go for first and second. Let's just maintain a nice little point differential. And we see that strategy play flawlessly. Now my question poses to you, Peter. Do we see more than maybe just one Diddy Kong come out as East Hartford down 2-1 in this series going into the match game, essentially?
Yes, it is the match game. Immaculate 1 match away from taking this thing home. And yeah, the pressure is going to be on East Hartford to see if they can make the adjustments. Immaculate, they were very concerned about the ability of East Hartford to make adjustments. They didn't reference anything specific to Diddy Kong, but that is the adjustment right now for East Hartford. I don't know if they'll go double Diddy Kong. Depends on if they feel comfortable. Diddy Kong looked very comfortable through the first half of Wee Rainbow Road, a track they loved, so things were pretty ideal, but it didn't end up working out. It was a little too late.
Yeah, I do think that maybe that Diddy Kong switch, if they had the full 6-race game to go through with Diddy Kong, they probably would have lasted a little bit better than, say, just a 2-race half, essentially.
Well, let's see where we are as we start to make the final adjustments here, heading into match point for Immaculate in match 4. Ooh, we have an Animal Crossing.
Ooh,
DLC to the original Mario Kart 8, but not the deluxe edition. Now there are 4 seasons on this map. It looks like we're in the spring. Do you have a favorite season of the year?
I am a little biased just because I was born in the winter. I do tend to love the snow. I do love to tend to everything. I'm not gonna lie, I do like shoveling the driveway, dare I say, whenever it gets snowy. I do like it.
Well, that's bold of you. Luckily, we don't have to deal with any of this. All the snow is melted here for on this Animal Crossing course. Immaculate holding on to first place, as we have seen time and time again. You know, some fun adjustments for this map. We have bells instead of coins.
Yeah. Peter, favorite season?
We're going to turn the question back on.
I have to. The people want to know.
You know, controversial. I'm going to say fall.
That's not that controversial.
I love the crisp in the air.
That's fair.
Some people don't like going back to school. But for a lot of these players here today, this is, looking towards the end of the semester, so they're going to leave everything they can out on the 96 tracks here. It is Immaculate holding on to the lead here as we are in the second lap here of Animal Crossing. Can East Hartford come back? I think in many ways this could set a tone for the rest of the match.
Yeah, if this first map, say, is pole dominated by Immaculate here, we could just maybe see the mentality or the morale just deflate here from East Hartford. Diddy Kong strat seems to be paying off at least a little bit to start fourth place here heading into the last lap.
For the most part, he's been in the middle of the pack with Diddy Kong. You know, when you make that adjustment, I don't think that those are the results you're trying to get. It's East Hartford with a narrow lead of first place. Looks like the bomb is going to bring Immaculate holding on to second. If things carry out here, we could have a 1-3 East Hartford showing.
Diddy Kong into second place here as that last turn comes in, and that might be...
That's a podium.
That's a podium.
That's
a whole
a full
podium coming
podium.
in here. I wasn't sure if that first place was them, but that's a massive lead jumping out here that East Hartford desperately needed heading into this very decisive match.
That's 13 points. There was chaos at that finish
They
line.
needed that chaos. And as we've seen before, it seems like the chaos is where East Hartford is thriving today.
That was chaos with the items, not chaos with the track. And as we enter here into track 2 of match 4, what chaos will ensue?
Are we going to get another map?
So I believe this is a DLC map here. We are back in another city with New York Minute.
I don't believe I've played this map. I have not.
Yeah, once again, this was brought over from Mario Kart Tour mobile game, as were all the city maps. And as we said earlier, it's going to be a much narrower course, which, again, if the thinking goes, it's going to be more chaos and could mean more success here for East Hartford. Right now, the Diddy Kong strategy is paying off. They're holding on to first place. Second place also belonging, well, it's really up in the air right now between East Hartford and Immaculate.
Plenty of room for both teams to work with here, though.
Again, it's a New York minute, but we have a couple of minutes of jockey before the points are decided.
Diddy Kong being double hit by a red shell.
And he's finally knocked out of first place. It is East Hartford with the 2-3. We have a top half of the grid sandwich again. Immaculate 1-4, East Hartford 2-3.
That gap is shortening, though, here for the second place player. He wants to catch up. Diddy Kong is right on the heels, of Black Yoshi.
And the tails of Eli from Immaculate. But I couldn't tell there if it was a shell or the banana, but it does mean 7 of East Hartford, who is the one today driving Diddy Kong, is going to get back up to first place. Roll the red carpet out. But here comes Blue Shell.
Blue Shell stops him in his tracks at second place. Oh, it actually hit the second place player as well of Immaculate. And that's going to jump him down to 5th.
But
Actually,
Diddy Kong drops down to 4th. But we have a very interesting lineup here. It means East Hartford takes 1, Immaculate takes 2 through 4.
that's a 20-point gap there, Peter.
I got my teams mixed up there. But yeah, that lead is up to 20 points for East Hartford. Again, we're how many tracks in are we?
We're 2. We're 2 tracks in, and they already have a 20-point. That might be the biggest gap I think we've seen today.
I think this is our highest margin at the moment. And maybe a match 2 was higher, but that was towards the end. The match was decided already. 20 points headed into track 3. Well, the momentum's continuing. It's another DLC. It's another Mario Kart Tour track. It's another city. Have you ever been to Tokyo, Nick?
I sadly have not. It's definitely on the bucket list. I've been to New York, though, if you're about to ask that next.
I kind of thought you'd be.
I'd hope so.
You would have.
I just wanted to clear the air. You never know sometimes.
You never know the audience at home. They know. As Immaculate's going to hold on to first place.
Now, Peter, if you're East Hartford here and you know you have that 20-point gap, 4 more races to go, do you start maybe implementing a more of a conservative side of play where you just try to get some decent pole position and make sure you get a good amount of points to maintain and secure that lead?
Yeah, to be honest, I don't know if they're worrying about that. I think they're really trying to just focus on continuing playing their game. You know, let the tracks play out as they may. Again, they were going for this map to map. based off the meta of the map approach. I think they're just focusing on playing their game, not trying to look too far ahead. At the moment, it does appear Immaculate is holding first place. East Hartford holding on second, and third place going to Immaculate. That means some points. Immaculate needs to start chipping away. They're running out of opportunities.
Last lap here for these teams.
The good thing about this 20-point lead coming so early into this match for Immaculate is that they have a lot of time to chip away. I know we talked about the chipping away, but if you're on the other side, you want as much time as possible to do so. Immaculate's in a great position to do so, holding 2 and 3 at the moment. And first.
I believe they have 1, 2, and 3 as they are just about to cross the finish line with all 3.
That podium is going to be huge. Huge points here. East Hartford holding on to 4 through 7, but 1, 2, 3, huge points. 20 points the lead currently for East Hartford, knocking that down to 9, an 11-point swing. We've seen these 11-point swings before. Immaculate gets it as we enter the second half of match number 4.
This might be the most crucial track here for both of these teams, I would say.
Yeah, I will say, it does seem like at this point it could be every match is, or rather every track is the most important track of the day. This right here is one that stands out to me. So what's it going to be?
Immaculate wins this one and maybe gets those points back. We could see them maybe make that push for that 3-1.
And here we enter Toad Circuit. Can Immaculate keep chipping away? It might be a tall task to ask for another full podium, another full 11-point swing. But coming off that 11-point swing, they don't need 11.
And we are seeing a double bag strategy coming here for the Hornets and Immaculate. 2 back players trying to just maintain good items and chip away from the better racers. Not better racers, I shouldn't say that.
Racers higher up.
Yes, the racers higher up. That's what I meant to say. Thank you, Peter.
Yeah. That was a perfect banana snipe there by Diddy Kong. I will say, I'm more of a defensive banana player. That was incredible offense by Diddy Kong. He's moving up to 3rd place with the triple green shells. He is the highest East Hartford racer at the moment. Because Immaculate is holding on to 1 and 2. 1 and 2, that's big time points as they try to chip away this 9-point lead here in match number 4.
They actually maintained the podium there after Diddy Kong gets sniped out by, I believe, a fire flower. And now the entire podium is in favor, or as I say that, Bullet Bill comes in and takes away, or actually, I believe, yes, he takes away 3rd. There he goes.
Coming out of the Bullet Bill as well with the triple red shells. He gets overtaken by his teammate. But we're looking at 1st and 2nd for Immaculate, 3rd and 4th for the Golden Hornets. Golden Hornets need to start trying to get more of those places after 1 and 2 to try to play some defense here with the points. It is going to be Immaculate holding on to 1st place.
There's a very big gap.
East Hartford taking 3rd and 4th, I believe 2nd place. Also going to the Golden Hornets. So that means 9 points is going to be stretched to 12. A 3-point swing there for East Hartford. Immaculate needed those 3 points the other way.
They did there, because now heading into this next map, if they don't secure essentially pole position for all 3, or excuse me, podium position for all 3, they might be looking at the extent of a 5-game series here. And now we're really going to be talking about fatigue, as well as, are we going to see maybe another repeat map like we saw before?
It's a 12-point lead here for East Hartford. So that means if we're trying to get to an even slate, Immaculate needs to take 6 points apiece. As we head into, I believe this is Squeaky Clean Sprint. Yes, my friends, that's a DLC course.
Squeaky Clean Sprint.
Yeah, it takes place in the bathroom.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, well, again, if we're going off the trends of the day, East Hartford should be happy with the ability to be driving a DLC course.
Anything can happen here, though. We have plenty in store for this map. Intentional
bagging there for Diddy Kong to take 7th place. and it is Immaculate, jockeying for first place. And they'll take it as we head through the sewer pipes. Immaculate's got 2 and 3 locked down at the moment. It looks like they also may have all 3 podium positions. The way we've seen these podium positions in the past, it has led to 11-point swings. If we're in a 12-point ball game, 11 points could essentially bring it into a winner wins the match here, heading into track 6.
Or rather, the Hornets would force Game 5 if they won the next. But then we're thinking too far ahead, excuse me.
Yeah, we still have a lot of track left here. We're still in the second lap as we go once again down into the drainage system of this bathtub.
East Hartford utilizing a lot of the shortcuts as we see, especially heading into the last turn before the finish line.
Does look like East Hartford is holding on to first place, but how many spots can Immaculate get behind them? Stack those points up. Another shortcut there by Immaculate, trying to chip away points, trying to build that, rather shorten that gap from second to first place. East Hartford still carrying on to that first place. They also have third and fourth. That ultimately could just be too many points at this stage of the match.
Second, third, and I believe third now dominated by Immaculate. Second now coming in here for Immaculate. They might look here to take it around this last stretch for the finish line. And they actually nailed second as first, I believe, swung for East Hartford.
Huge points. It looks like first and third here for East Hartford. First, third, fifth, and then eighth. Diddy Kong not being able to get a lot of momentum there with the points. So that's going to turn a 12-point lead into a 15-point lead heading into track 6. Look, I think this is a situation where everyone at home, if you don't have allegiances here to the two teams, this is what you want to see. They say, this is really taking advantage of the best of 5 games format if we do indeed get to that point.
It's definitely looking like, at least in terms of the point differential, that we might be heading to this 5th game as a 15-point differential. Now, Peter, I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not great at math, but if it serves me correct, I believe they'd have to get first, second, third, and fourth if they even wanted to come close to making up that differential and winning.
Well, we haven't seen anyone do that today. It's going to be tough for Immaculate to do that here with, again, the tail of match number 4 is the DLC Mario Kart Tour City Tracks. Here we are in Singapore. I take it you've never been to Singapore if you haven't been to Tokyo? Or am I...
Well, I was going to make a joke and say, how dare you assume that, but no, you're right as well. I have not been to Singapore. Have you?
Can't say I have. No.
Oh.
No, only a New York minute for me. Well, at the moment, it is Immaculate in second, first place for the Golden Hornets. That first place is going to be so huge here for Immaculate if they want to try to scrape and claw. So if you're in this position for Immaculate, where it looks like this match is already out of hand, what things are you trying to get out of this race in order to see where things are headed into a potential game number 5?
Now, you see, if I'm the players and I'm Immaculate, I know that maybe this next game is mathematically out of reach, right? I might know that. If I'm looking ahead, I still want to maintain my form. I still want to be racing good, maybe try and land in the upper echelon of the podium as well, to maybe just still feel good, because at the end of the day, it is a confidence game too, and if you feel confident going into this next map, or at least the next match, excuse me, it could breed well for, we might see, or we're going to see, potentially the best of 5.
Yeah, well, East Hartford's holding on to that first place. Second and third are in the hands of the Mustangs, but without that first place, you know what they say. I don't think the math will be math. Math ain't math.
Math ain't mathing right now. Still plenty of chaos to potentially happen. We always love seeing items and everything else be brought out by these players.
And that's the chaos of these tour courses in our city streets.
Red Shell, though, coming into the first place driver for the Hornets.
Yeah, as we really start to come to the close here of the third lap. It is Immaculate taking first place, second going to East Hartford. Third place going to Immaculate. So we have the the flip-flop of the top half again. But in terms of the points, I'll tell you what, it's not 15.
No, it's definitely not.
No, that's going to bring that 12-point lead down to 8, which means East Hartford is going to take match number 4, leading us to a decisive Game 5.
Game 5, and we've been harping on this new Game 5 format versus the 3 in the previous rounds all day, and now we're seeing it come to fruition. Peter, if you're these teams, right? We've talked to East Hartford. We see them bring out the Diddy Kong. We haven't seen really any, variation or deviation, rather, from the initial game plan for Immaculate. Do you expect to see anything different, or do you expect just to see these guys come out here and just say, we're going to race?
Well, you see, they did take matches 2 and 3, and when we talked to them before the festivities today, they didn't mention making any adjustments. I think they were intrigued by the best of 5 format. They've played different formats all year, 12 races, 18 races, that they're just trying out to play they're just doing their game plan. I don't think they're going to make a lot of adjustments. They believe in what they have to offer, and I think they're going to stick by their game plan because, again, the margins of victory have been very close here at the points.
Yeah, especially at the start of the races where we see those 1 to 2 point close races, and then we see these massive gaps eke out. I wonder, are we going to see any maybe mid-race adjustments like we saw? Because we did see that Diddy Kong come out. I believe we saw Diddy Kong halfway through match number 3. Yes, it was.
And it paid off because I will say the tracks ended up being quite favorable for East Hartford, at least from what we can imagine for match 4. So was it Diddy Kong? Was it the the course randomness? It all comes to a head here. They say the 2 greatest wares in sports are Game 7. Well, for us, it's Game 5.
Same sentiment here because it's essentially still the winner go home. Someone who's coming out of here, if you don't come out with the most points, there is no next game. It is going to be the second place prize, and neither one of these teams want that, as we've seen today.
No, this is it. This is winner go home. Based off the time of day, it's not winner go back to school.
No, definitely
we're
not.
Post-school closing 3:30. So here we go as we start to cue things up here for match number 5.
Got some time, I believe. I think they're resetting the lobby for these players.
Yeah, I think we're trying to work out some things here.
Peter, I do have a question because you asked me earlier who I mained. I don't think we've talked about who you tend to pick. I don't believe it is Yoshi, is it?
No, it's not. No, so not on the meta there. I like to play some lighter characters because I'm a bike guy. No bikes today, all buggies for all 8 of our players through every track, every match, every course so far. Yeah, so I like Diddy Kong, who's who we saw East Hartford employing, been a big part of the adjustments today. I like Lemmy. I like the rainbow mohawk, but also I like a Tanuki Mario. I know, unpopular opinion to some.
I think we have discussed this before, and I believe I did. I was very shocked when you said that, to say the least.
It was an unpopular opinion at the time, but hey, I think one thing we can take away from what we've seen today is, I think the meta really plays out. I think these Yoshis with the buggies, with the smaller tires, with the lighter gliders, we've seen paper and cloud gliders by both teams, that's the way to go.
Yeah. They clearly have their metas, strategies, and everything unlocked. Now the question is, since they're sticking with it, I wonder, are they going to bring out this Diddy Kong once again, or are they going to maybe deviate, bring out multiple, or are they just going to go back to the Yoshi meta?
I think they're going to keep on the Diddy Kong stuff. I mean, we only saw one Diddy Kong. That was seven Gilbert of East Hartford. And I think they're going to continue that. You can clearly draw the line from when they employed that strategy in the second half of game number 3. It led to, again, they were up by 20 points. I believe that was our biggest lead of any match or any game today, that 20-point lead.
It was.
And East Hartford, they were backed against the wall, down 2-1 in this, forcing a critical game 5. I wouldn't see any reason not to carry that going forward.
Yeah. Like we talked about before, how we saw Diddy Kong come in only for half of that third match. And it clearly seemed to maybe show a little bit of improvement. But now with the entire match under their belt, it seemed like Diddy Kong kind of did pay off.
I mean, the results certainly pay it. I mean, this is a team game here. It's not Diddy Kong. He's not all the points here. But it certainly had the team momentum, the team dynamic of that strategy worked out.
I believe we're about set underway as we're about to find out where we're going to send our racers to.
Yeah, will we continue this momentum of the tours? I mean, that was the story of match number 4. Full Diddy Kong for East Hartford and a lot of tour races. But it looks like we're going to be heading back to the slopes. DK Summit. This is something Immaculate said they really wanted this track.
They love their ice and snowy maps, and this is a great map for them to probably take a very early advantage on.
After losing match number 4, this is, like opening a Christmas present early, right? Getting a little DK Summit.
Look at you.
Hey, we already had Mary Mountain. Now we have a little DK Summit.
Personally, I prefer this map too.
Hey, who doesn't like, the little cannon to start? Always a good time. And so far, it's led to Immaculate holding on to first place here as we head down the summit.
I see what you did there. Look at you.
Yeah, we've had hills, mountains, summits, islands, everything. We've been all around the world.
These players going around the bend now.
Yeah, the momentum of that shortcut, lost a little bit of speed there for Immaculate. And it means the Golden Hornets, they took first place, but with these half pipes, trying to get the momentum, the positions are going to fluctuate so much.
I believe this one specifically has been updated for the Mario Deluxe version, but I believe it also was inspired off the the classic map.
Correct. I think you're right about that. So far, Immaculate is loving their home digs, right? They said they wanted it first and second here as we're in the second lap of DK Summit.
Hornets not going away easily, though. Staying closely behind them.
No, it's not an insurmountable lead here, as we see, second drop all the way to 6th in the blink of an eye.
Third lap here just beginning for Immaculate. Plenty of room for them to work with here.
Oh, and it's the 8. Immaculate has gotten the 8. 8 items all at once, spamming them. Going up from 7th up to 5th place. Just finished the start, and a Bullet Bill on hand in 5th place. He's already up to 3rd. Immaculate already holds 1st place, and we're up to really 2nd and 3rd here are a toss-up.
Second place did avoid the blue shell there at the top right of your screen, if anyone did notice that. Shortcut here, massively taken by the second place player, but he's got to make up that momentum. But he lands in the the tall snow. So not going to catch up to first.
Immaculate is going to lock down first place. The Golden Hornets hold on to second place. And it is the 8 for Diddy Kong in the back. Can he catch up? Well, the red shell combined with the blooper and the star gets him through. Diddy Kong going up to 7th place. As we see Immaculate take 1st, 3rd, 4th, and 8th. Everything else going to East Hartford. That means a 5-point lead for Immaculate.
5 points. Honestly, Peter, if I'm East Hartford, I'm not that worried about it. We've seen bigger swings. We've seen these players. All it takes is one map, and all it takes is one absolute podium lockdown, and they're all the way up top.
Only 5 points, not 11, like some of the bigger swings we've seen.
Or 20.
Or 20, for one of the tracks that they really said they wanted to see Immaculate. 5 points, still very solid, very early on. It's a good place to be considering where things ended game number 4. Riverside Park here. If I'm correct, this is a DLC map.
I believe so.
It is, and this is actually one of the shorter tracks of the whole of the DLC. So it's going to be a lot of fast-paced action. It's no Baby Park.
No Baby Park. Baby Park is, to be fair, an 8 lap. I believe. Is that correct?
Maybe 5 or 6.
Trying to remember.
I don't think it's all the way up to 8. As we see, Diddy Kong was bagging, and then Immaculate went in the other direction to bag the bagger.
They've got 2 baggers on each other. They're both going to have to finish the race eventually, regardless.
As he goes intentionally into the banana there to get the double item.
Now, we won't lie, it might not be the prettiest strategy in Mario Kart, but it does work and it is effective for a lot of these teams.
Yep, and as we see it there, we're in a bit of a standoff here into the items. The difference between 8th and 7th can be huge. 7th place, Diddy Kong still secures a Bullet Bill and Trips Mushroom, so you have to say, not a bad outcome.
Yeah. And they're just now completing lap number 1, whereas lap number 3 is just ending here. Or, excuse me, lap 3 has just started for first place.
And ultimately, it's, first, second, third place, the points are much bigger, but if you can chip away the points in the back, it can add up.
Diddy Kong, though, at the top of your screen, stuck all the way in the grass, but is going to be able to slow down that 8th place player, the Black Yoshi.
It is 7 and Michael Volpe of Immaculate jockeying in the back. Now just entering the 3rd lap here as East Hartford takes first place. They're a whole lap behind.
A whole lap. They are fighting for this last place position. It's kind of ironic when you think about it. You usually think of you want to fight for those first place points. Instead, it's all about the baggers who are trying to knock down the last more points that they can get.
It is Diddy Kong that's going to come home in 7th place. It was 1st and 2nd for East Hartford in that track, which means we're going to turn a 5-point Immaculate lead into a 4-point East Hartford lead. 9-point swing on that course.
4 more races to go, Peter.
4 more races till glory. And may I say, when we had that little standoff there in that last track, I heard some laughs from down below with our live audience. It's funny. It's funny to watch in real time.
It's really funny when you see these players who, every time you play a game like this, you think, oh, I'm just trying to win. Some of these guys are really not trying to win when you think about it at times. Or at least that's not what their role in the team is.
It's a team game. Everyone needs a Dylan Brooks.
Or a Draymond Green, if you want to go that far. I don't know if I'd go that far.
I don't. So we do have a repeat track here, Animal Crossing. We are in the winter time, though.
Ooh.
We're going from spring to winter. So this is the track for you.
I'm a big snow guy. I'm very much going to enjoy the aesthetic of this map.
The holiday season full effect as we see Diddy Kong making donuts in the snow. Immaculate holding on to first place here through the first half of lap number 1. I think Immaculate is pretty steadily in that top half of the grid, trying to win back some of the points they lost last track, which of course was DLC track.
I think at this point we're going to actually see more of that jostling, especially if we're going to be including the bagging strategy of the 8th and the 7th place players. We're going to see a lot more of the top half of the grid really going to try and get those extra points in 1st and 2nd.
That's the shell hitting 3rd place for Immaculate, 3rd and 4th right now for Immaculate, as well as 1st place, I believe. So I think they have 3 of the top 4. Huge in a 6-point game right now in track number
3.
3.
Still a whole lap to go. Plenty of room here for East Hartford to work with. Diddy Kong trying to see if, since he's all the way back, see if he can snag himself a blue shell, maybe get himself into podium position.
Right now it is Immaculate in 1st place, 2nd and 3rd going to East Hartford. It is Immaculate that now gets back, but now East Hartford is hit back, and now here comes the blue shell. Towards the end of lap number 3.
Second and first look to be
Eli
held
gets
onto.
hit with a boomerang. Then East Hartford gets hit with a red shell. This is chaos here.
Big mixed bag here for this podium, but we're going to see the top half dominated by Immaculate.
2 through 4 going to Immaculate. First place going to East Hartford, which means 4 points is going to turn into a 1-point lead. We are dead even headed into the second half of Game 5.
This is the last 3 races that these players are going to have to determine a championship. Peter, if you're them right now, what's going through your head? What do you have to say to yourself or your team to really either calm the nerves or really hype your guys up?
Yeah, I'm going to employ a page out of Bill Belichick's handbook. Now we're on to the next track, and let's hope it's a good track for us. In this case, momentum back to East Hartford, Vancouver velocity. We're headed around the world again. And dare I say, I'll ask the question once again, Nick. Have you been to Vancouver?
Sadly, I have not, but I've been to other parts of Canada, and I would love to be in Vancouver. I've only heard good things about Vancouver.
As have I. And again, as someone who's never been to Vancouver, I am jealous of the players' positions right now to be driving through the city. He's Immaculate in second place right now. East Hartford holding on to first. Jorge for East Hartford. Holding the banana to hold off Immaculate. It's not going to matter. Black Yoshi is through.
Not a lot of room here on this map. It's a lot more of a tighter map, as we talked about before. The chaos tends to favor East Hartford, but
It's 1-3 right now for Immaculate.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting as we see things start to pile up here. If we start to see a lot of bananas compound through the route, of course, as the shortcuts and the routes change through the laps, may not ultimately pay off, but that's what you get with these tighter, windier roads. Immaculate holding on to first place. Again, the difference between first and second place here is 2 points, and in a 1-point game,
that could be the difference here. Mathematically, it would be the difference here.
yeah, this time the math is math.
Yeah, this time the math, ladies and gentlemen, has math.
Immaculate holding on to first place as we go through the ice rink, and we are heading near the third lap of this race. And here we go. This is the witching hour of this race. Diddy Kong all the way up to second place. Bit of a redemption track for him. Now, he did not bag to start this track.
That could have been the key difference here, but he's got a red shell on him. He's got 2 of them. Both hit him, but only one mattered. Green shell on his back now, trying to make a difference. As first,
But
still
those
locked
are
out by Immaculate.
Those are his teammates, though. East Hartford has a huge contingent after first place. Now, can they catch up to first place, or can they hold on to that block? Because that block means huge points. They can't. Immaculate holds on to first place. East Hartford holds on to second place. And where do the other places lie? As you see, Diddy Kong's back to 7th place. But East Hartford still dominates the top half of the grid, 2 through 4. Where are we in points? That's the 3-point swing for East Hartford. 4-point lead heading into track number 5. Track number 5, game number 5. Of course, we're on to 6 tracks here.
The map is going to be the very much the determining factor here going into the last 2, because as we've seen, it's not about the skill. It's clearly, yes, it could be, but all these racers very talented, but it's clearly about the strategy, especially when you have certain maps where Diddy Kong, we see him employ that strategy of the bag.
Well, this Dolphin Shoals, another OG map, so no DLC. So again, maybe that means Immaculate can chip away at these 4 points.
I believe the last time we saw them in an OG map, or one of the launch maps, they took all 3 winning positions. Don't want to jinx anything, but I believe that was the case.
see if it pays off here. First and second, East Hartford through the early half of Dolphin Shoals. And look, we have no bagging here for Diddy Kong.
It's an all-out race here. We're going to have, I think what we're about to see here in the next 2 races is just going to be pure Mario Kart racing chaos. And honestly, Peter, I'm here for it.
I think it's going to be pedal to the metal, drive to survive.
It's like 1 through 4 is going to be dominated completely here by East Hartford. 1 through 4 minus 1 now being overtaken. A lot of chaos here. Items being flown all over the place as we bunch each other up right at the start of the grid one more time.
Especially as we're entering lap 2 here. Can we have a replica of last track where we have maybe Immaculate holding on to first place, but East Hartford getting that bunch in the top half of the grid? 2 through 4, meaning a good swing of points.
Diddy Kong here actually going to fall off the map and is going to drop him all the way from, I believe, 3rd down to 8th. That could be very, very influential here heading into the last turn for lap number 3.
3rd and 4th going to Immaculate at the moment. 1st and 2nd being held on to by East Hartford. And then 5th and 6th going to East Hartford. This would be a decisive point swing for East Hartford as we enter lap number 3. Is there enough time for these big points that are at hand to be taken and swapped?
1st and 2nd being dominated by East Hartford right now, but Immaculate players close on their tail. They're bunched up between 3rd and 6th right now, looks like.
As you can see in the lower left part of your screen, they're waiting for the right time to use that item. As we get near the end, a bad group of items for 3rd place. A banana and triple green shells.
And that might be 1, 2, and 3 here coming in for East Hartford.
I believe that's Immaculate in 3rd
Or
place.
yeah, that is 3rd. Yes, I take that back. Excuse me.
So 1st and 2nd to East Hartford, 3rd and 4th to Immaculate. This is going to mean points again for East Hartford. We're going to be up to 13 points. Now, I don't think we've seen as big of a swing anywhere beyond 11 today.
No.
So as we're looking at 13 points, we're going to need a dominant victory here from Immaculate. Let's see if they get one of the tracks they said they wanted coming in. This is maybe what it comes down to. Track selection once again.
All random, but believe me, they wish, or they're hoping that they have a little bit of luck on their side here now.
This is going to be an original DLC from the original Mario Kart 8 in the base version of Mario Kart 8 Deluxe High Rules Circuit. You know, similar to Animal Crossing, you know, I think this is going to be a pretty neutral course, which East Hartford has to be happy with at this point. Trying to hold on to this lead in the last track
Of the day. Pure racing coming out, no bagging strategies.
Now that's Diddy Kong coming here to play.
He said, I'm coming here to win this trophy. The strategy clearly paying off here for East Hartford, at least in the long run, wouldn't you say, Peter, from when they made that switch?
But it certainly paid off. Again, it's hard to tell the line between the track selection going favorable and the Diddy Kong selection. But hey, if you look at the numbers, it's been pure success for East Hartford ever since they made that switch halfway in game number 3.
1st, 2nd, and 3rd dominated here by Immaculate.
That's what they need. That's what they need at this point. And I believe they still have 8th place Immaculate, so it does seem that they have a bagger trying to get some momentum to carry them in, to try to launch themselves into points towards the end here, just scrape and claw and do anything they can to get themselves back into this match.
Or perhaps even just to slow down these these East Hartford players from catching up to the Mustangs as we head into the last lap of racing, ladies and gentlemen. These are where the cars are on the table. We see Immaculate now. We see, well, actually at the bottom right of your screen, someone who's in 2nd place now fall down all the way to 6th.
Ultimately, I think this might be a case where it's a little too late. That's a huge momentum swing, 2nd to 7th. huge amount of points.
Diddy Kong does fall off, though. I believe that was from a 5th to an 8th. Early on in the track, though, still plenty of room for him to go by. First still maintained by Immaculate. First and second, excuse me.
Immaculate's going to take home the very important first place.
But I believe second was also taken over by East Hartford there.
And I believe Immaculate 8th and 6th place. In addition to that first, it's not going to be enough at this point of the match. That's going to be a 14-point victory in game number 5. And that secures it in the 3-2 win. It is the 1 seed East Hartford Golden Hornets. They are your 2023 Fall CIAC Mario Kart 8 eSport champions. What do you think of the whole performance today?
Honestly, I'm really glad that this team was able to adjust on the fly like we talked about with them before. They said if they started feeling maybe that their strategies or their initial strategies weren't enough, they needed to make an adjustment on the fly, and we saw that. And sadly, unlike Immaculate, we didn't see them bust out anything when the strategies weren't going their way, or say if a bagging strategy just fell flat due to their luck.
And we'd also like to congratulate Immaculate for being the runner-up. They had a really hard-fought match here today. The results weren't where they wanted, but they have to be proud of themselves in a really tough, hard-fought 5-game match.
You know, Peter, I might even argue with you that they put on an exemplary performance today. They were the 2 seed. They sweep their entire way. They don't drop a single match all the way up until this, up until the final here, and then they ended up leading 2-1 on the number 1 seed. Honestly, if I'm them, I'm putting my head held high, and I'm coming back maybe next semester or maybe even next year. I'm taking them down.
100%.